Wow, I thought this film would be bad, but not that bad. The Mario movie killed my grandma, okay? She was sitting in the theater and she started going into cardiac arrest. And I thought she was doing a Mario reference in her chair when she was shrinking. You know, like how Mario... Can't do it with a straight face. Y'all like the thumbnail? This movie was mid, seriously. Not great, not terrible by any means. It was exactly what it needed to be. Serviceable. That's it. I consider this film to be like the Force Awakens of the Mario franchise when it comes to films. That's it. Like, don't forget how much of a reputation follows when it comes to like video game adaptations. Only recently have we seen like really good entries with like Castlevania. But like before then, you know, decades ago, you had like the Mario live action movie. And that was like this own little ball of chaos of its own. But it followed video game adaptations. It made Hollywood go, this isn't it, Chief. This is not it. This film, though, is it. Not to like the nth degree of quality where it's like I cried in my seat. It made me question my existence. My grandma's not dead. It wasn't that. I sat there and I smiled. And I'm like, this is fun. It's kind of simple, but it's fun. And that's all it needed to be. Get it off the ground. Play it safe. Lean into your franchise. Do what Nintendo does best. Charge $60 for it. Because like going into the film, I was like, these Rotten Tomatoes scores from critics, they're like, 50%, it's terrible. One of the worst films from Illumination. And I'm like, hold the phone. One of the worst films from Illumination? Have you seen their catalog? All right? It's a bunch of mediocre stuff for the most part. Where does the Mario film fall on this list? To me, it's at the top of the list. Like I compare it like right up there with Despicable Me. That's where I would put it. It's not Sing 2. It's not Secret Life of Pets 2. It's not Minions 2. It's at the top. It's good. And that's because Nintendo was involved. And I saw this entire discourse online where folks are like, why are you being so hard on the Mario movie? It's a kid's film. And it's like, shut up. I don't want to hear that either. All right? You don't have to get into this weird debate over adults versus kids and who is it for. I hate that we have these situations where it kind of fans the flame of that stigma. It is just a film that is accessible and simple. And that's exactly what it needed to be. As an adult, as someone who's 93 years old, I watched the film and I felt like, hey, I don't feel like I'm being pandered to. I don't feel like I'm being excluded. It feels just completely palatable and serviceable. I was hoping for more, but like I wasn't going in there with expectations where I'm like, this better be as good as All Quiet on the Western Front, you know? No, I wasn't expecting that. It's Nintendo. Nintendo and Illumination, a good combo when it comes to making something that's like widely accepted and playing it safe. Nintendo has a powerful fan base. Oh my God, dude, Nintendo fans love their Nintendo. When I was in the theater, folks were cheering and laughing and having a wonderful time. Like, the Nintendo fans were so hungry for something that was just competent. Just give me what I want. This film was just slam dunk after slam dunk of leaning into like the brands and the inside jokes and what makes the Mario franchise iconic. The music, the bad guys, the characters, the sound effects. It's such a simple, like, again, slam dunk. Just do it. It's right there. Just do it effectively. And that's exactly what this film did. And when it comes to Illumination, I don't have the highest opinion of them, but they can market a movie. They can make a film. And I would like to think that Nintendo being like quality control on this will probably like improve that. Do this, do that. Like you got Nintendo, they need sticklers when it comes to like particulars for their franchise, for their company, of course. And I think in combination with Illumination being like just an absolute machine when it comes to churning out product, it's like, okay, well, here's your product with Nintendo flair on it to really punch it up. At the end of the day, it works. Is it good as Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? No. Is it good? Yeah, I think it's solid. Not perfect, but solid. And like leading up to this film too, there was so much like just discourse with like Chris Pratt voicing Mario. And I had my apprehension, I had my doubts, and I kind of still hold said doubts. His performance was just like, okay, I can see why they went this path. Because you can't have the entire film. That would be grating. I'll be real. It works for the games. With Charles Martinet, which, by the way, they give him a shout out at the start of the film and at the end. Because you get this commercial where Mario's like, was the Italian voice too much? And then Charles Martinet's like, it was great. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. At least they're like acknowledging Charles Martinet. I appreciate that. Also, there were some other voice actors in the movie like John DiMaggio, Cree Summers. But of course, like the main listers are the, celebrity voice actors, your Chris Pratt, your Charlie Day, your Seth Rogen. I will get that in a bit. But as far as Chris Pratt's performance, it was just like the film, serviceable. I didn't feel like he really brought too much to the character as like, wow, that's what a performance. It was like, nah, he did fine. Charlie Day as Luigi was pretty damn good. Jack Black as Bowser, very good. But for Chris Pratt, it's like, it was fine. it was okay. Moving on. Now, as far as like the synopsis of the movie goes, I said the word simple before, and that's really how it is. The people who wrote this movie were like, let's just go with what we know. It's already in front of us. Princess Peach, Mushroom Kingdom. It's an isekai. You know, Mario and Luigi start off in Brooklyn in the world of humans, and they get teleported through a pipe into like Portal Land, and then they get separated. And I'm like, okay, well, at least the film started in New York and didn't end up in Actually, wait, hold on. It did. Well, wow, I'll be damned. It did both. But at least it started in Brooklyn instead of like the Smurfs or Alvin and the Chipmunks, where it always inevitably ends up in New York, which again, at the end of the film, they do end up back in New York, but it doesn't sting as much because they're Italians in New York. That's kind of normal. I was surprised too, because the film, as far as like character arcs go, it's about Mario with his self-doubt, how his family doesn't think very highly of him, except for like Luigi, how everybody's like, you're small, you're a squirt, you can't really do much. But he has like this never say die attitude. He keeps getting up over and over again. Also, he's got a close bond with his brother, Luigi, of course. Mario's family, I'm like, has this ever been explored before? I'm like, I don't know, but hey, I guess it's fine. Got this Italian family just completely ripping into Mario. Though I was like, what is Mario's age as I'm watching the start of this film? Because I'm like, he could have been 20, in his 30s, in his 40s. I thought it was cool how they were being nice to millennials like me and acknowledging that Mario lives with his parents. No, look at Mario's room. It's just fully decked out in geek stuff. There's a Star Fox R-Wing. Tons of shout outs and Easter eggs as far as like other Nintendo properties in this movie. You got Duck Hunt. You got like Knockouts. I think on Mario's laptop, there was some Zelda SFM like animation with like her in her yoga pants. You can see the love for the franchise, for the brands, for the games, for just Nintendo in this movie. When I saw the R-Wing, I'm like, oh, Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie. Star Fox! It's Star Fox in the year of our Lord 2023. I'm amazed. I kind of sat there afterwards. I'm like, am I easily impressed? And I'm like, who cares? I'm having fun. So the story is about Mario and Luigi getting separated. They get stuck through a pipe through Brooklyn and ended up in Mushroom Kingdom for Mario, and then Luigi and Bowser Land. Bowser wants to capture the superstar. He gets it early on. He wants to use it to convince Peach to marry him, which is, of course, like Bowser wanting to steal Peach and get her to be his wife. That's part of it. But they also play Bowser to be very like, almost like a soft boy, where he's like, is Mario like, is she like blushing around Mario? Like that kind of Bowser I kind of love, where he's a bit of a softie on the inside. He's a bit of a paper tiger where he talks a big game, but then he completely collapses because he's like a little nervous boy on the inside. I'm here for that. I like that Bowser. Peach, man, as far as her character goes, like folks are like, girl boss? And I'm like, I hate that kind of lingo. I hate it so much. I just watched the movie. And Peach wasn't like particularly like mind-blowing for me. Luigi's the one who's captured, not Peach. Now it's Peach and Mario and Toad taking off to go find Luigi and recruit the Kong army to stop Bowser. Again, they play it very as a matter of fact, where like Mario shows up to the castle and he's like, I'm here to find my brother, and Peach is like, hey, I'm gonna go get the Kong army. By the way, it's a Kong army, let's go. Not before we get like this 1980s rock and roll, like I Need a Hero, they have Take On Me. They've got like AC/DC in the film. I thought that was kind of weird with the music choices, because like the rest of the soundtrack is fantastic with this orchestral Mario music, and it's like, that's wonderful. I'm gonna listen to the soundtrack for this film on Spotify. But like the other songs that they brought in, like Take On Me was playing when they got to Kong World. I'm like, why? It seems out of place. So a little bit of Illumination like kind of peaks here and there, as far as like, that seems like Illumination called that shot, but whatever, I digress. So Mario, he gets knocked down, but he gets up again, and he tries to, stop Bowser and get Luigi back. Peach being like more of like the guide. She has this I can do, I've been raised by the Toads, I'm pretty strong, and I'll explain the world to you, Mario. She almost seemed like she was a tutorial, like just a little window that pops open saying, here, Mario, this is what you do next. Toad, comic relief. Same thing with Donkey Kong with Seth Rogen. I thought that was fine. Though I'm pretty sure Seth Rogen has in his contract, he has to do his laugh in every film, the same way that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has to win in all of his films, and Bryan Cranston has to wear his whitey tighties at least once in his productions. I made that last part up. But ultimately, I was a bit disappointed in that Luigi was like, didn't we see much of him throughout the film? We got like more Donkey Kong than Luigi, Luigi. I like Charlie Day as Luigi, but he was just kind of gone. Like throughout the second act, he's just gone. And there's a question of pacing in this film. It seems so like, okay, moving on. Here's the stakes. We're moving. And it's like, whoa, here we go. Army's taking off. Or taking off to Bowser. Or Bowser's now ambushing us. It just happens. A lot of things just happen. And I'm like, maybe a longer runtime could have fleshed these things out. But at the same time, I'm like, again, embrace the simple. Stick with the essentials. What works? Just knock it out. And it never felt like it did active damage where it made the film like not enjoyable. There's just some moments where just like, here we are, it's time to move. Or here's the expositions. We're moving now. And I'm like, oh, okay. We're on Rainbow Road. There's an attack. Okay. Now there's an ocean below the Rainbow Road. Okay, I guess so. But I'm like, who cares? I'm still watching this and liking it. We got a song from Bowser, by the way, where he says like peaches. And I'm like, oh, it's cool. Jack Black singing as Bowser. That makes a lot of sense. But when he says peaches, it sounds like he was saying bitches. Bitches, bitches, bitches. I started laughing when I heard that. But yeah, as far as like the ultimate end of the story, where there's like this weird pacing thing where like a bomb goes off in the Mushroom Kingdom and then somehow like everyone ends up in Brooklyn. That was like, what? Okay, whatever. And then Luigi teams up with like Mario to fight Bowser, where they're like, as long as we're brothers, we'll always prevail. Which would have been more impactful, I feel like, if it would have been Mario and Luigi going on the journey together and having like that typical like schism that leads to the final act where they team up at the end. Because like them being like, as long as we're brothers, we can do anything. And that was like established at the start. But then like Luigi disappears. And then at the end, it's like, okay, we can do anything. I'm like, could have been more impactful if Luigi actually was there for the entire time. Instead it was Peach. And it's the film was trying to avoid cliches, but at the same time kind of ended up doing cliches. Like there's a cringe moment where like Mario is like talking and flirting with Peach and Donkey Kong's like, she's not gonna be your girlfriend, dude. And Peach is like, boys, stop. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I guess I was hoping for more Luigi. I was hoping for a little bit more Bowser. It was just mostly Mario and Peach and Donkey Kong for the majority of the film. And it's fine. It's okay. I just think Luigi is much more interesting. I was hoping more for him. But I also realized that this is just the start. Next film will probably be about Luigi. Like he'll be the main character. And we'll have like Daisy, Rosalina, Captain Olimar, of course, and Zelda SFM. It's gonna happen. This is like leading up into the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic universe. I guess just overall the story is super just to the point, and they stuck with what they know, and I can respect that. Didn't blow my mind. Since my expectations were low going into the film, that meant the film were above my expectations by just being competent. The animation, very, very good. Though there were moments where I'm like, this almost seems like too high def, like too crisp. I don't need to see everything, I guess, but I can at least respect it. They went the super detailed approach, and it's fine. It's fine. There's room in the animation industry for that, and it works in this film. But there's moments where I'm like, man, this is like really crisp. But yeah, the visuals were great. Though there were some moments where like Mario held his hand up, his arm out, and I'm like, he's got tiny little arms from like certain angles, but that's probably just perspective, and I'm just stupid. Also, the credits for the film, a lot of fun. I enjoyed the credits. They're really cute. This film was made with a lot of passion, a lot of love for the franchise. You don't have to swing a grand slam here. Just get the first. That's it. That's what this film is. Just bunting the ball and getting the first. And that way, get your foot in the door, and hey, now we can do another Mario film, and maybe we can up the stakes and get a little bit more ambitious next time. But for the time being, all this film had to be was just competent. So the critics ripping into it on Rotten Tomatoes, whatever, to each their own. I just had fun. I thought it was fine. Not my favorite, not the most, again, like challenging, but it didn't have to be. It just needed to be Mario. But hey, those are my overall thoughts, folks. Let me know what you all think down in the comments, and I'll see you all next time.